want to start by asking you all, why do you feel workforce development and even just this whole concept, this topic is important in our community?
As Michael said, like the biggest thing for me is the passion. The quickest way the quickest way to change a life really is through workforce opportunities. Like that's the fastest way. So that was what I really enjoyed about some of the programs that I've been a part of, because like you spend one year with us in a program, and that team has a kind of a transformation. And that transformation isn't just for the team. Just like, wow, like I learned these skills. I've had an internship opportunity, and now I'm capable, and I'm put some money in my pocket. What happens is like now like a mindset change. We're like, I believe I can do this. And when that mindset changed for the team, it also changed for the family. So now the family is now okay. Well, let me go back to school. Let me go get some other skills, or let me get some other degrees, or let me try to reach for my dreams as well. Because uh, before I didn't believe I can do it, but now because my kid did this, now I believe I can as well. So like that's the hugest part for me. Like knowing that some of the communities we serve have been disadvantaged, and a lot of it is because of economics at some point. So like if we're able to affect the economics of the family, we can affect the economics of their whole community and the resources that they have.
Yeah, I love the family aspect that you brought out. And again, to the point that Michael made earlier, it's not just for the kids, right? We're trying to impact and provide opportunities for everyone. You both have worked in different areas, different communities, been all over the country. What are the things that you're seeing, even regarding families and workforce, development and opportunities that you're seeing in Dallas that may be different than other areas, or that the things you're seeing in Dallas that are like alarming, like these are the things we really need to address and give some attention to?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest difference for me is for Dallas is some of the opportunities are very far away. Because our current transportation doesn't get you to Frisco or to the Colony or to some of there's a lot of warehouses and things like further south past I-20. Where dark just only kind of goes within Dallas city limits. I would say that's probably the biggest difficulty, but the opportunity is still there. We have so many great businesses who decide to come to the area to headquarter here, and we have a lot of new jobs or emerging jobs here. But for some of those opportunities, if a family is struggling or a potential employee is struggling and doesn't have a car that can get them all the way across town reliably and consistently, which we know is one of the main parts of having a job, that can be a challenge.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. We have barriers. Everyone has barriers, right? But I think Dallas, of course, working with the mayor, we are striving for to defeat that transportation barrier. The huge one is childcare. That's major. That we're trying to come up with ways to really inject the things that we have in the community to pull out to help others with their childcare. Because a lot of people want to work, they do.
yeah.
But when you have a 2, and 3, and 4-year-old kid and it's no option for them, it's tough. And the employer partners that we have, they're at a stage right now that they want to help. They want to see how can we help this person get through these trying times. But it's tough, right? It's so many dollars that's going to childcare, but a lot of organizations are not receiving it. So we're working with organizations like Inland Port, Uber, and just all these things, Lyft, to really come up with ways that we can use dollars for that. I think a lot of times right now, even with childcare, a lot of people are not working in childcare now because the things we've gone through in the past. So it's just about building that pipeline, building that awareness, because a lot of people don't even know the options we have out here. So that's a big thing as well. But I think over time, as long as we continue to get in the face, have platforms like this, to always speak up, then we'll get these opportunities out to people.
Feels like a lot of, what I'm hearing from both of you is some of the barriers to, people getting new jobs or, growing is
Absolutely. I almost jumped out of my chair right now. Absolutely. Every day. This is what I do every single day, and I talk to families and I mentor because I want them to understand the opportunities that are out there. Like you said, the jobs, the careers, the organizations, they're like, come to us. We'll figure out a way. If you have the talent, really not even the talent, if you have the drive, that's what they want, right? Someone to go to jobs every day, be on time, and want to learn. You can get a 6-figure job just being that. You know what I mean? Just being that. So that's the big thing for us. Making them aware of the opportunities and then letting them take these opportunities. And then from there, we can train you, but just be open to everything.
As you were talking, I thought about the fact that, we have tons, 65% of workers are looking for new full-time jobs, right? People are out there seeking. But, our president always says you don't know what you don't know. And how do we, get people to a point where they're employable? If I'm a person and I'm from a community where no one has told me about how to use a computer and I want to work on computers, that's a skill I don't have. So what advice do you have for people who maybe want to change? And that's everyone. That's teenagers, that's young adults, or even the elderly. How do we help
more seasoned?
Yeah. How do we help them? Or what's the advice you both have for how to gain some new skills so that you can be employable and have a career and not just a job?
Yeah, about just education about the different programs and platforms and resources that are available. A lot of times for free, right?
We like free.
Right, we love free. So even here at the Boys and Girls Club, we have access to free certificates. Through Google, where they can learn user design, they can learn project management, they can learn some basics in IT, and they also have a course just to learn some basics of how to use a computer, like one-on-one, break everything down. So for that person who maybe they just was a driver all of their life and they never touched a computer, but they want to transition into something where they want to stay home and be close to their families and things like that, they can still learn those skills for free. But a lot of times, like, people just assume there's a huge dollar sign attached to everything. And like I mentioned programs we have, but I know there's tons of other organizations that like this is what they do. Like they're a nonprofit. They receive grants and funding just to help people get those resources. Like the Perscolises of the world. Like you're like Workforce Dallas. I'm sorry, sir. But there are tons available, and it's just about finding the information. So we want to share that information as much as we can, so these people can get in these different fields, because the world is quickly changing. Like a lot of jobs are online, but like we'll see how the next couple of years ago. Jobs may be in the metaverse. There may be jobs in artificial intelligence, or artificial intelligence are going to change a lot of jobs, where like some McDonald's and stuff like that are going completely like just digital. So like people are going to need to change with the times, but as those times change, like there's also opportunity, because there's new jobs that didn't exist, as we mentioned earlier. There's jobs that exist now that before the pandemic didn't happen before. Or like we have a job for a person behind the camera running social media. That job didn't exist when I was in college.
Influencers, right?
Oh, man.
When I was in high school, that was not the thing. Everybody wanted to be a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, something like that. We never thought you could make a career out of, YouTube and all these types of things. But you hear some of this I hear you saying, and if I were a person who was not tech savvy, or a person, who has, experienced just certain types of jobs, this all sounds scary to me. Like moving into a new phase of employment and AI and technology and all these things, that can be scary. So how do you ease their fears? What's the tips that you can provide for them to say, like, it's okay, there are new jobs out there, it's go with the times and the resources that are available to them?
I think the big thing is, I know we have a lot of jobs and tech and all these things. Nothing defeats hard work. Mm-hmm. Nothing. If you are a hard worker, you can do anything. Anything. I said Workforce Dallas earlier, plug. But yeah, absolutely, Workforce Dallas, Dallas College, Fort Oak Cliff, the Concilio. It's so many opportunities out there. And I know we're streaming now, but I'm not afraid to put my phone number out there, my email address out there. I want people to have access to this. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about, because the opportunities are out there. We just got to get in front of the people. Like you said before, it's so many nonprofits that do this every single day. The trust factor is big, because a lot of people do go out there and they don't get the help they deserve. We're trying to eliminate that altogether. So again, if it's some way I can do that, put my information out there so people can reach out, I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
So let's just make sure everyone knows hard work defeats everything. If you're a hard worker, please don't get deterred, don't get
upset, don't get angry about these all new technical words and kids doing all these things, TikToking like they say. Don't get afraid of it, because if you're a hard worker, I promise you, opportunity will come to you. Not just now, even in the future. I promise you.
Can we talk a little bit? Talk a little bit about. I know we've talked very much about technology and the jobs that of the future and the jobs that are coming. Can we talk about what's available now? Like, I know that you both are working. Oh.
So
Go ahead.
So for me, I would say one of the fields I hear about a lot is cybersecurity. Those jobs are available right now. We're putting so much information online, and we're changing the ways that we get online. We're changing the way that we bank and deal with money, and we're changing the way that we have our identity online, and we need to be able to protect it some type of way, or companies need to be able to protect themselves and protect their data. So those jobs are a huge market everywhere, and I think that, along with all of the other data, like data analysts and Salesforce CRM people, is a huge job. So if there are free Salesforce courses out there, I would say check into those. And beyond that, just some of the basic customer service jobs, like Boys and Girls Club is hiring. I don't know which camera I'm on, but we need tons of people who have a passion to work with our youth and pour into the next generation to come out. So those are a few sectors that I know aren't going anywhere. And teachers, I'm sorry if my wife is watching. There's a huge shortage of teachers. That job is not going anywhere anytime soon. So those are some of the sectors I would say.
Everything you said is perfect, but I'm gonna add a lot more. So we have 106 employer partners, Workforce Dallas. Huge partners: Parkland Hospital, Amazon, FedEx, AutoZone. You name it, they're our partner. 3 weeks ago, we had a huge event with the TD Jakes Foundation.
With the TD Jakes Foundation in the Dallas.
1,700 people.
1,700 people came.
1,700.
1,700.
500 people.
500 people hired already.
So those are the
the opportunities that we have out there. Like you said before, cybersecurity, probably top five right now in the world.
Parkland
Hospital has 300 openings right now. Nurse practitioners, HR, recruiters.
You name it, they have it.
You name it, they have it.
Again.
So again, if you don't have experience, that's okay. One thing you need to have is drive and hard work. These companies will hire you for those two things. So like I said before, it's a lot of opportunities. The American Airlines Center. It's so many opportunities out there. I don't want to leave someone out, so I'm gonna stop right now because parties get upset. So I don't want to leave anyone out. But again, please contact me. Please, I promise you, we can get you the right organization for you.
Right now, we can get anybody.
Hired, but that's not the
number one goal for us.
Number one goal for us. We want to put you in the perfect situation for you.
To
have long lasting.
We don't want you to come back to us.
We don't want you to come back to us in 2 weeks and say, hey, it's not good.
That's not it.
That's not it. That looks bad on your resume. We
want you to have a career.
We want you to have a career that's perfect for you. Long lasting. That's the goal.
Yeah. That people have a good grasp of the type of skill sets that are necessary. I know we've talked a lot about training, but we need to really hone in on the skills that are needed for the workforce now, because it's changed. The marketplace is multi-generational, it's very diverse, and the things that my mom them did, or they were looking for when we would interview back then, they're very different than what's being looked at now. So I'll ask you to speak, Dwayne, and from the team perspective, and I'll actually speak for the 25 and up. What are the type of resource activities that you're providing for teens to prepare them to write a good resume or to survive and do a great interview so that in the first place and know that this company is a good fit for you?
Yes, so
we have a program
here that we're doing
Wednesday called Career Ready. We're bringing different volunteer groups in to teach our teens different skills to prepare for the workforce later. And it's all the things from time management, which is huge. It's being consistent, showing up on time. It's resume building, interview skills, how to present yourself, how to dress correctly. It's a ton of what people call soft skills, but like these skills are great and they're transferable to any job. And we're really trying to teach hard work. Like some would say after a certain age you can't teach hard work, but we're trying to instill that. We're trying to instill that now. We're showing like, hey, this is what it looks like to work hard. This is what it looks like to be consistent. This is what it looks like to show up on time. We try to do that in small ways. If we say, hey, the meeting starts at 6:30, right at 6:30. 6:31 you're late. And holding them accountable and setting the expectation here, where they always know they have to be this. Along with some of those skills, that's the biggest thing we focus on. We're also trying to teach some of the more technical things. So yesterday we had some volunteers from Vista Bank come in. The volunteers from Vista Bank was teaching about financial literacy, how the underwriting process goes, and all of those things. So like Mike, I don't want to leave anyone off, but we had Vista Bank, NBC, TI's next week. I apologize if I leave you off, but we have a lot of different coming and teach those soft skills, but then they also teach something about their career, and we're hoping to continue those conversations moving forward, where our kids get like some work-based learning experience or internships in the summer.
That's awesome. Are you able to provide them opportunities to go and kind of practice or even look and see maybe internships or job shadows? This summer, every week, we're calling it Workforce Wednesdays. Every week we're going to different companies to tour the whole facility, see all the different departments. Last year we went to American Airlines. Our kids just thought it was all politics. That was it. They saw they have marketing, they have accounting, they have security, they have all these other things they can have real long-term careers. So we're gonna have those opportunities as well as for a few of our kids. We're gonna have some great internship opportunities. Some at banks, we have some at law firms, and some at learning services, and insurance companies. So we're gonna have a lot of great learning opportunities and internships. That's awesome.
We would love to help you with that.
Absolutely.
Anything you need to do, absolutely. Definitely. Well, for us, 24 and up, of course, we want to make sure. A lot of times, people in that age, they learn bad traits from previous employers, right? So the first thing that we do when they come in, we do an intake process, but it's just talking. Let us shoot. That's number one. Then we bring the employer to them. If we're going to truly meet them where they are, that's what we have to do. So in that intake process, we learn what industries have you had experience in and what are you looking to do. Once we get that information, we bring that industry to them, right? That's huge. Because any doubt that they have in themselves or any doubt that they have, hey, I've been burned before, y'all gonna do the same thing. We'll eliminate that the first week. So employers come to them, conversation. That's really it. Just learning more about the organization, learning about what's needed for that company. Because a lot of times people think just because you do an interview, you're gonna get the job. No, you're not. You're interviewing that company just like they're interviewing you. It has to be a perfect fit. So I just think Workforce Dallas, we're able to understand what's behind the curtain. A lot of times when you're interviewing, that's on that surface level. I do to get the job. That's why when I do job fairs, I don't tell the candidates what jobs are going to be there. because I don't want them going to the job description and just trying to be the job description. That doesn't work. Be yourself. That's what they're looking for. So just little things like that transform a person from just being an employee to being a leader. That's what we want. We want you to lead this organization, not just be an employee. Employees are leaders of companies. Next develops careers. People that have a job, that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be a job until you don't want to be there no more. Or until they don't want to be there no more. Right? So just things like that we're trying to eliminate. I think we're just so, it's been hard work, but we're just so thankful for the partners that we do have, because the employers, they understand where we're at. They understand the things that we're going through. So they truly walk with them. If we're going to say we're going to meet them where they are and truly walk with them, the employer has to be a part of that process. And they are. I think it continuously, when more people get hired and more people succeed, that's when a lot of people are going to open conversation. Man, Workforce Dallas is doing amazing. What did you learn that about? Workforce Dallas? Okay. Because, marketing is the best way. Word of mouth is the best marketing. So as long as we continue to do that, I think more people get impacted.
Do you have opportunities for adults to practice the interview skills? And, because if you, maybe been a mother and a stay-at-home mom and haven't worked in a while, or maybe been unemployed for a few years, and it can be scary getting back out there in the job market. So are there opportunities for even the adults to practice and how to dress for interviews? A lot of the things that we're going to talk about. Do you have that?
Absolutely. That's a great point as well, because just think about what we are. A lot of people have been on the couch or at home for 2 years.
And to us,
it's normal to get up every day, go to work. That's normal. But to get up 2 years and now you have to every day go to work,
that's huge.
That's huge. Like, that's a lot of trauma that you're dealing with, but now you have to get up every day and go be amazing every single day. And something that's brand new to you. So we definitely have that. We have financial literacy, we have interview skills, we have soft skills, we have culture training. A lot of people don't do that. So I'll dive into that, what that truly is. So culture training is teaching someone that might not be a part of, say, a corporate office, having worked in that environment yet. We bring someone that has to really walk with them 2-3 weeks when they first start the job, just to make sure everything goes smooth. So just things like that to really give not only opportunity but direction. So that's what we're doing.
Listen,
that is vital. Because if you haven't been in the workforce, it can be scary. Like, if you've never worked an office job and you've always wanted to and no one told you how to do it, you show up and there's fear, and many people won't even apply because they're afraid. They just don't think that they have the skill set to do that. So that's it. It's extremely important. I'm glad you all are doing that. And what about for teens? Are there some things that you have or some opportunities to do the same thing with them?
That's a big part of the job piece. Because as Michael mentioned earlier, a lot of kids do what they see their teens, what they see their parents do. So if mom or dad never worked in the office, they have no clue how to serve to an office, or they have no clue like what the culture is like.
If they go in and
they're wearing a hat with a suit, they didn't know I'm not supposed to do that. So that's the reason why we do those
get a good feel for it. That's why we have those opportunities, so they can have a great feel for it and get paid while doing it. So when they're ready to graduate and go to school or go straight to the workforce, they're going into it super confident. Hey, I already know I can succeed. I'm not going there just to work. I'm going there to become a leader, like Michael said earlier.
So we have a question from the chat that I wanted to make sure we asked, and they wanted to know, getting a little bit personal with you both, what was your first job? And the thing that I would like to add to that is, what did you learn from it that has helped you in your current career?
I can go first.
I can go first. My first job
worked
was
at a summer camp when I was 15 years old, and I cleaned the toilets, and I cleaned up after lunch, and kind of just did all the dirty work kind of behind the scenes. And what I learned from that was leadership, really, because amongst the group we were working with, it was about 10 of us. Some of the guys, when we first started, everybody was super excited about it. We used to pay together, to be here. We were happy about it. We were happy about $5.40 an hour. But some people started feeling disheartened. Well, I gotta clean up the restroom. Why I have to do this? But I learned early on. It's like I can become a leader in this space. By just showing up on time, taking every opportunity I have seriously, and they end up giving me a raise there. And I didn't like something normally that they did, but they end up giving me a raise because they saw like, hey, like we know you're a team. Summer camp, you're taking it serious, you're becoming a leader amongst your group. So that from an early age, my first job, I became a leader. And so now my goal is whatever organization I'm a part of, like I'm looking to become a leader in some type of way, either through position or through influence of my other coworkers.
That's awesome. And come on, raise. Everyone likes a raise. Everyone values it. What about you?
That's a great question. So I've worked with Mayor Johnson. I worked with President Obama, but I always say the number one person I worked for, I learned so much from, was my dad. That was my first job. Like I told you, I was in outreach, right? So I was a team mentor. My first job, but I was mentoring like people way older than me. So, but like you said, at an early age, you see what your parents do. You know what you see. So when I saw that my parents did it, I was like, I know I can do it. It's easy. It was very hard. It was a lot of teams that wasn't taking direction. But again, anything that's hard, it makes you strong. So when I saw that, I knew I had to really dive in and try to not only help them, but go put myself in their shoes of what they're going through, and then I could be able to help them. So it was a very tough job. I think I was paid in food or candy. But yeah, definitely learned a lot. Learned that hard things are going to come through any situation. But as a leader and a person with a huge drive, you have to overcome it no matter what it is. So that's what I learned. And those principles that I used back then, I still use today.
Is fear a factor? Like, you both talked about jumping out there, doing it. You had to mentor adults and you were a teenager, and you were decided to just take over and kind of be the leader amongst your group. And do you think there's a fear factor involved? Because most people will change jobs 12 times in their lifetime, right? And many people will stay out of fear. They may want to do something else. They may desire to have a career and not just a job, but there's a fear factor that I can't do it or I don't know how. So, how would you encourage someone to move past that wall or that barrier or the fear that is holding them back?
Fear is always a factor. This times I've been at work and been terrified. But I would say every time I do the scary thing, I grow. Every single time I do the scary thing, I grow. I was terrified when I moved from Dallas to Houston. When I moved from Houston to DC, I was terrified when I moved from DC to Dallas. The whole time I was driving home, I didn't have a job. What am I going to do? I have a wife and a baby on the way. What am I going to do for work? But in all those kind of terrifying situations, you got to face it head on, and there's always greatness on the other side. Every single time. A lot of times for me, it's like if I'm scared about something, it means like I'm really excited about it. It's making me nervous for a reason. I'm kind of because if not, I would just be indifferent. Right? I wouldn't care. But if I'm afraid about it, that means I'm really excited. That means it's probably really going to be great. Once I actually try to do it.
That's fair.
For me, it's even
tougher because I work with adults, right? So they have mortgages, they have kids, they have all these things, right? All the real life things. So when they come to you with tears in their eyes and like, how I'm gonna do it, but I gotta be the one to tell them, hey, for 4 weeks, I got this training for you. Just do the 4 weeks and we can get you this job, but you gotta leave the job that's paying for food on your table and for your kids to go to school and clothes and everything. It's extremely hard. And I know they're terrified. But the thing that I say always, I pray constantly, right? I think just having that trust factor in God and understanding that if you put all your drive and everything in Him, He will somehow make it work. I know it's hard for me to tell people that and to really trust me to do that for them. But I think the big thing is just to bring someone with you that have gone through, or an employer that can really show them, hey, if you do these things, it can lead to this. But I do understand it's a huge factor in it. But of course, if you want better for yourself, you have to make that jump. In everything in life. I know all of us have done that because I think we're not doing a service to the people behind us that have molded us into who we are if we don't take those chances. So that's the conversations that I have every single day. Again, it's extremely tough. But again, I show them, hey, your kids, they want that opportunity, right? It's what you show them. So if you can just try your hardest and really go after it, not only will it be beneficial for you, but it'll be beneficial.
It's so much about it that is very much believing in yourself and believing that you deserve, this new opportunity, or you deserve this career. You talked about faith in God, and sometimes we have to have faith in ourselves. And, conquering the fear is an act of saying, I am worthy of this. I'm worthy of this new career. I deserve this. And it's going to take a little work, and it's going to be terrifying. I'm going to be driving back from DC, not knowing what to do, but sometimes we have to be willing to take that leap, knowing that there are resources available for us. It's not a leap that we're taking without a parachute. Like literally, there are opportunities, there are companies, there are organizations that are out there wanting to help support us through this. We just have to believe in ourselves to do it. And that's for adults and that's for teens. Because sometimes teens, to the point you made, the way when they see and emulate what their parents did, and if, no one in the household went to college or no one tried to go for a career, they may think that that's normal and that's what they should do. So we just have to have some faith in ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I have another question. It's from the in-person audience, and they want to know what is something that you always ask. What's a question? At the end of every interview, they always say to you, do you have any questions? And sometimes you feel like if I say no, like that was the wrong answer. Please don't say no. Right? So what are, from you both, you don't have to give me one, you can give me 12 of them if you have them. What are the things that everyone should ask in an interview before they leave?
Should ask is a little different than what I do.
Give me both.
One of the ones I always like to ask is what's the culture like at your organization?
Because you're interviewing
them as well.
I want to know.
If
I come in here at 10 o'clock tomorrow,
what does the company feel like? Do you guys actually like working here?
I mean, you can't ask it that way.
But like ask them, what the company culture is like, and see if
describe it in a real way.
Or if there are some challenges.
Another question I ask is
like, what's one of the biggest challenges you guys are facing?
I think that's a very important question, depending on your role,
it may be your job, so face that challenge.
So culture and challenges are my two go-to. Michael as well.
Yeah. So this is a big topic when I'm talking with people about employment. But the number one thing I would say is even before the interview, be prepared. Right? Opportunity without preparation is failure. That's what I always tell people. Be prepared. Do your research. Know about the company. Know who you're interviewing. Know who the HR director is. Department lead. All these things. Google is amazing.
And it's free.
Get on there and find as much as you can about the
Now,
company.
in the
Now, in the interview,
you can see how.
of course you can see how it's
Before
going,
the-
right?
the-
Before
you
the
see how it's
end,
going.
you can see how it's
Now,
going.
if you get comfortable,
Now, if you get comfortable and you get to that end, of course, number one, ask the coach. Please do. Because you might think a lot of people do that in interviews. I just want a job. I need this money. We all been there. We all know that. But at the same time, if it's not a good culture, you're not gonna be there long. So please ask that. That's the number one question.
Now,
two to about 10, it's kind of the same way. Ask what's in your job description for you in the first 30 days. What is needed from you first 30 days? Because you might have a mindset of something like, I'm just gonna come in here, I'm gonna learn. They're thinking like, no, you need to come and make a difference early on. So I would say that's the second question. Just learn, ask what's needed from you in the first 30 days. Then are you in a lead position? Like, are you over anyone else? Because if you are, your future goes how they go, right? So that's big too. You want to make sure if you're over someone, know that. If you're not, is it on you? Then you ask that too. Just make sure, because a lot of these questions, people in the job interview, they just go blank because they want the job so bad. So they just go back to this: prepare for the job. Just understand who you're interviewing with, the company, all the background, all of that. So.
And really quick, I want to add to that. I would love to ask what the performance review process is like. Or not just the annual performance review.
Performance review.
How is my performance
kind of
read or checked or
like
how am I evaluated?
How am I evaluated on the consistent
What does
basis?
success look like?
What does success look like in this role?
Is it measurable?
Is it
Do
measurable?
you guys have a system?
Do you guys have a
to
system
track it?
to
And
track
can I
it?
see the system?
And can I see the system?
Type things. So
type
as you go into
things.
that job, what to expect, and how to really measure. You can be going there thinking you're doing a great job. Your boss is like, nope, you didn't do this. So you want to make sure you kind of know that head into.
So what about the salary question? I know that comes up a lot, but should we ask about money, and should people be afraid? Because some people go into interviews afraid to ask about it, and where can they look? There's Glassdoor, there's salary.com to find what are the salaries you pay. So what's your recommendation on that?
Research. Because you can find the salary online. You can before the interview. And again, don't be scared. Oh, you can ask any question you want to. Let me stop. You can ask any legitimate question. Right. People gonna say that, man. They said I can ask anything. No, legitimate question. Because again, you're interviewing them too. They're not just interviewing you. You're interviewing them. So the salary question, don't be afraid of it. Definitely ask it. What I would do is always go higher in the salary question. Then it's always a range, right? If they like you, they're gonna hire you regardless. But you have open opportunity for negotiation.
Yeah, you see that a lot. If you're on LinkedIn or any of those things, I see all the posts about people are offering lower. They're trying to underpay employees, and I think it's a lot of times because people are afraid to ask the salary question. I'm sure there are people out there that are like, I was hired at a job, but I wished I had asked what the salary was before I accepted. So.
Yeah, because for me, I thought it was impolite to ask for years.
Right.
But it's like you said, start researching. Like if the company isn't posting it, but it's a national company, see if a company in another state is posting it. Because if the state is similar to yours, like the range it should be similar, like within $5,000 or so. And then, like you said, like once you figure out your range, you know whatever bills you have, ask for a little bit more. Right. The worst they can tell you is no. I think sometimes we think we're being unreasonable or whatever, but like the job out there is saying that they pay 60, ask for 65. Like, they may tell you no, like you might have been fine with the 60 anyway, but just ask for 65. They might just say, oh yeah, that's fine, we can do that. But it's conquering that fear of the unknown or ask, because what I think sometimes people don't know, like being on the other side of the table, like the interviewer already know what they have arranged for. So like they may already know, okay, like this job I can pay up to $75,000, But if this person asks for 60, I'm gonna give them 60 and save their money on the budget. But like they already know and they're expecting us to negotiate. But a lot of times we just accept the first offer.
And you said it there, negotiate. A lot of people aren't familiar with negotiating. They think that that's a bad thing to advocate for the salary they want. So like, they won't go back and say, no, I want 75 or I want 100 or whatever that number may be. Negotiation is where it is. So we've negotiated a salary and we've accepted a position and now we're hired on the job. But there are times when employees, they're still human. They're still very much people and they go through things. They go through experiences. They, have resources that they need. So, this is a question that came from the live audience, and they want to know, are there resources for mental health that can be offered for employees? So like, how would an employee have that conversation with their employer? I need these resources, or, even in the interview process, how do you ask about that? And is that a taboo subject to bring up? Because there's a stigma sometimes that companies won't hire people that they feel need mental health resources. So how do they have those conversations with their employers?
I think first of all,
most employers
are offering some type of mental health resources, especially after the pandemic. Most of them are. And if you're at a place that insurance, like you can get mental health for free a lot of times through your insurance. So don't be afraid. Some of the larger companies are really just trying to do a good job. They can have a mental health professional at their site. The type of question you can ask is hey, if someone's having a tough time, do you guys have any resources available? Like someone's dealing with anxiety, depression, whatever. They may be called a life coach or something like that at the office. Like a lot of times, people are offering these good services. If you're afraid to talk to anybody, talk to HR about it. HR will keep everything confidential. So like, if no one else, if there is a stigma or whatever reason, your HR person should point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. Totally agree. In workforce alone, every organization should have some type of mental health help or a mental health lead to help you. Everyone. If they don't, that's another conversation to have, because I would just say, is it any way an HR lead or an HR professional can join our conversation? Because I would love to work here, but I think that resource is helpful, not only for me, but for our culture in general. So that's back to the culture conversation as well. Mental health is huge in everything that we do. We've seen in the pandemic alone, even before that. Just understanding how you feel as a person is needed. Not even in work, in everyday life is needed. We work out, right? We work out on our bodies. Why we're not working out with our minds? That's what mental health is. So I would say to anyone out there, if you're working or you're not, please do research on it and reach out to anyone that you feel can help you. I know Workforce Dallas has it. You can come to our office. We provide it. Even if you're not trying to get a job, we provide it. There's so many nonprofits around the community. Again, if you reach out to me, we can definitely help you with that. But the big thing, and I would say, don't be afraid to let someone know what you're doing. That's the number one thing. All of us go through trying times, and if we don't talk about it and just get it out, that could just build up to other issues. So please, if you're dealing with anything, please talk to anyone about it. And back to the conversation in an interview, don't be afraid to ask any legitimate question. Please don't. This is the time, and we're in 2023. Those open conversations are needed. If they're not, employers will. Absolutely. Every interview is not. Every company is not good for everyone. Please understand. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. As I was sitting here, I thought about, we work for Boys and Girls Club. We work with teenagers. We work with kids who will change their mind about where they work, many times, and even as a person who's hired people, you look at the resumes and someone may have 12 billion jobs on there. Again, we talked about people who change jobs 12 times in their lifetime. What advice do you have for people who say, I would try for a new career, or I would try for this new opportunity, but it seems like I've hopped around so much that maybe I need to stay somewhere, for a few years, so that they won't think I'm going to leave them in a year after they hire me, or a month after they hire me. Because that's a real thing. People say that all the time, like, they don't want job hoppers. They don't want to see that on your resume. What's your advice to them?
I think that's tricky.
Tricky because
my view, I think you can look at life being
short or life being long, but
it's both the same. If you're in a field,
if you're in a
change
field,
your mind about it, you have every right to
go
get whatever new
credential and try something completely different.
And I think
it's on companies a little bit to retain staff. If you have a great employee, you're gonna do everything you can to make sure that employee feels like a value-added member to the team. If they want to explore something different, see if there are any departments or resources you can offer them there. You really want to keep them there.
If I decide I want to go into med school, I'm going to go to med school. Even though I may have years of experience of doing this type of work, I want to try med school. I should try because life is short.
Life is short. You might as well do something that you absolutely love.
Because if you're not bringing your full,
to that work, you're doing a disservice to the company, and also doing a disservice to yourself and anybody who may be looking up to you.
Unfortunately, I watched my parents do jobs that they didn't love.
What that taught me was
when I wake up in the morning,
I'm going to love this job.
And that's not just your parents.
That's 75% of the world.
Right.
I mean, so many people that went to school for a degree, they paid thousands of dollars for it. Now they're working.
75%.
It's 75%. I'm in workforce. Let me say that. I'm in workforce. So I'm going to put the job seeker hat on first, then I'm going to put the employer hat on.
Okay.
All right? Job seeker. Absolutely. If you feel like he said, if you feel like you're not seeking your passion or your drive, absolutely go after it.
On a resume,
don't put that on the resume. Please don't put that on the resume. You should always identify your resume for that job. Don't put a resume out for everybody. Here you go. No, you're not Oprah. Everybody don't get a car and you get a resume. No, every single job should be personalized for that job. Only jobs that need to be on there is pertaining to that industry.
Yeah.
You're trying to be a mechanic. Only jobs should be on there is pertaining to cars or what you're trying to work.
Not babysitting.
Customer service could be on there, but make sure it's just identified for that position. Big question I get. Well, what if it was 12 years ago?
That's okay.
That's okay. Because if it's identified to that field, the employer will want to know that. So make sure only identify for that job. Big thing.
Employer hat.
Oh man. Okay. So employers, they want consistency, right? They want to see that you've been working. Because a lot of times, people that have been working don't work. So again, I just had a conversation with a lady that wanted to move here to Dallas from Canada. She came to our event at the TD Jakes Foundation, and she wants to move here from Canada. She doesn't have a job. She said, what I need to do?
Get their resume
in order. Take off any fluff on your resume. We want direct work that you've done in the past 3 to 5 years. Right? If you had any gaps in there, take out all gaps. If you have put anything, if you've done training, you've done school, anything. Employers hate gaps because they feel like some way that you've been doing something.
That's the employer.
So that's the employer. I gave a lot of both ends because I think that needs to be talked about more because we have these resume classes and I've sat through a lot of them and they're not teaching it. They're teaching just put the font here. Put it.
That's great.
That's great. It looks great, but
identification
of what you've done should be on it.
That's the big thing.
So that's the things I would say.
Well, I think this has been a really great conversation, and as we kind of wrap up and, I hate to cut off this great conversation because I really enjoyed it, and I think there's a lot that people are getting from it. I just wanted you two each to just talk about what are the lasting impressions you want the community to walk away from knowing about Boys and Girls Club and what you offer and what Workforce Dallas is offering, and share any information about where they can find you and how they can connect, because the community conversation that we're having is all about connecting people to the resources that are available to them. So if you could start, we'll start with DeWaylen and go to Michael. Share, what you're doing, the important message you want them to know, and how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, so the most important thing I would like everyone to know is we have a spot for you or your team at Boys and Girls Club to really prepare them to go into the workforce, become a successful person in this community, and really do a complete change in your life, or in their life, as well as the families. Like, we have a ton of resources available. We have a lot of amazing partners who really want to work with our young people and ready to pour in their time, their efforts, their money, and their knowledge into our kids. So we would love for you guys to get involved. We have a ton of different programs that we happening around the year. It is late. So some people see some of our programs and say, okay, well, that career ready program you talked about, that started back in January. It's too late to start now. Like, the time to change, or the time to start, is always right now. So if you're watching this and you looking online and say, okay, I saw the career ready program, that was yesterday, I can't do it. I can't do it again tomorrow. I was like, yes, you can. Like, it's one next week on April 19th that you're absolutely welcome to be a part of. Texas Instruments will be our guest speaker. We would love for you to come down. Never think you're too young. Like, you're watching this, well, hey, I have a 12-year-old, not quite a 13-year-old. Still bring the 12-year-old on in. We can start grooming them early. We're really well prepared. You can find majority of our information on our website, or if you're on social media, go to BDC Dallas Teens. You can find me. I run the social media, so you can send me a DM. My information is also on the website.
Text me,
call me, email me,
whatever way,
because I really want
to have your team here
and get access to these great resources.
I feel like we have so many.
We have so many, and like,
anything that builds up,
I would love to go back to a company and say, hey, like, you need 20 spots for this internship. We need 25, we need 30, we need 40, because we have so many great kids.
Please,
make sure your kids
are coming out to be involved with us. We're very easy to get in contact, and we would love to have you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, first and foremost,
thank you all for this great opportunity.
What I want to tell the public is Workforce Dallas is a people first organization. Number one. Yeah, we're all about jobs, we're all about careers, but we are a people first organization. I know a lot of times the stereotype of other workforce is that they don't get the help they deserve. They go into these places and nobody's helping. That is why Workforce Dallas was created by Number one reason why.
Because so many resources are out there, and we want to make sure that we give them. So number one, we're a people first organization.
Number two,
our goal is to work with all nonprofits, all churches, all organizations, all community leaders to come together as one. I know everybody is doing great work, but just imagine the lives we can impact together. That's number two. So again, in any way possible, like I said before, every interview that I do, I give out my phone. I promise you, I do. I did 97.9. I gave out my direct phone number. Because I always, someone that's going to see this, that's really down, may not have a computer, may not have all those things, but can find a way to really make a call. So I'll do that today. My phone number is 469-251-2394. That's my direct phone number. And I'll say it again. 469-251-2394. That goes directly to me. Directly to me. So yeah, anyone that needs any type of help, we do training, resources, wraparound services. We have all type of employment, apprenticeship programs, entry level, executive roles, management roles. All these things are at Workforce Dallas. If you want more information, you go to workforcedallas.org. On Instagram, we're just Workforce Dallas. Please follow. We have prizes all the time because we feel not only do you need jobs, but you need motivation. It's very hard out there. Very. So we have a safe place for you just to come in and really talk to us about what you want to do in life. We want to do that. So again, hopefully I'll hear from you guys real soon.
Well, that was awesome. I want to thank you, Dwayne. I want to thank you, Michael, for coming out. We have had a great time. Excited to see what we can do as we work together to impact the Dallas community. We're going to make sure that on our website, you can find at bgcdallas.org. We have a community conversations page, and we'll make sure we share your information, share Dwayne's information. And as we continue to have these community conversations every month, all the guests and any resources they have available to them will be available on that page. So we want to thank you all for joining us for this month's community conversation. We look forward to seeing you next month. Again, thank these great panelists, and we have had a great time tonight, and we're going to have this again next month and the next month and the next month. So please continue to join Boys and Girls Club as we discuss the things that are important in the DFW community.